Over to Dan and John for a few words.
Good evening, everyone. Before we begin, we did want you to know that your eyes are not deceiving you. There are, in fact, two of us up here. We know Nick's decision was tough. In fact, we both know who he really wanted to be standing up here with him tonight. Unfortunately, the DSO does not allow dogs, so Brady couldn't but we brought these instead. Hopefully these will be made available in the photo booth. Brady, we miss you. John and I actually would both like to say a few words tonight. John's going to start.
Hello everyone, my name is John Coleman, and I've known Nick and Emily for about 10 years now. Thus far, we've survived Grosse Pointe North, the University of Michigan, multiple moves across DC, and the Rich Rodriguez era. I want to start by thanking a few people. Doug and Donna, congratulations and thank you very much. Your daughter is a truly remarkable person who has been a trusting ear and a source of masterful wisdom over the last number of years. Steve and Candy, congratulations and thank you as well. Nick is like a brother to us, and so by proximity, you have become our parents as well. That's a good and a bad thing. And Emily, let me speak for everyone here when I say, wow, you look absolutely amazing tonight. And it's a double honor to not only stand up here as Nick's best friends, but your best friends as well. And everyone else here, just take a second, look around you. The reach of Nick and Emily's circle of family and friends is not only large, but strong. Thank you so much for making this a special day. So, Nick and Emily are not the kind of couple who have constant public displays of affection. Yet, you always know that they are the perfect couple together. He's strong-willed, she challenges them. He was never going to get a pet, now he's got his best bud Brady. And he's never one to ask for help, but she is always there before he has a chance to think about asking her. This reminded me of a little story back when Nick, Dan, and I were playing floor hockey. We were going to a doubleheader, and about 10 minutes into the game, all of a sudden I heard a crash, and I looked over, and Nick was grabbing his ankle, and he had to be put on the bench for the next hour and ice it, and we ended up having to take him to the ER. So on the way, we texted Emily, and before he was even able to finish up his paperwork, she was already there sitting by his side. And I don't need to tell you that much like Detroit, the ER in DC, a twisted ankle isn't necessarily top of the priority list. So she was there with him until wee hours of the morning, and with her she brought a change of clothes, his favorite snacks, and even a cell phone charger, all without asking. That wasn't it though. I never told Nick this, but I'll always remember how much of a calming presence she had upon her arrival. At that point, the mood got lighthearted, and you could just tell that he was at ease. That's just how they are. They are a pair destined to encourage each other, help each other, and care for one another. Thank you so much for having me out here.
Hi, everyone. For those who I haven't met, my name's Dan McGraw. I've known Nick since 1993, actually, almost 20 years. We met back in Mrs. Weaver's third grade magnet class at Ferry Elementary School. Back then, we were two pretty cool dudes who found ourselves among classmates with superior intellect, but inferior personal hygiene and social skills. I guess it's fair to say that not much changed 10 years later when we enrolled at the University of Michigan. During our freshman year at U of M, Nick and I lived together in the small confines of 1234 Reeves in Markley Hall. Among other well-known hazards of living in Markley, which of course included flu epidemic outbreak, the smelly kid down the hall, and a violent resident advisor, Nick also survived living with me, a roommate with undiagnosed sleep apnea and chronic snoring. Needless to say, Nick left Markley a much stronger man. We parted ways in 2004. I pledged a fraternity and lived in the house, while Nick joined a group of political minorities on campus and wrote about things that he found irritating. Nick eventually started to hang around my group of frat boys, and I, from time to time, read things that Nick published in the Michigan Review. In 2006, Nick and I became roommates once again when I moved into the infamous 436 South Division House. By this point, Nick had become official with his beautiful bride, Emily, and it was our senior year. As you might imagine, Nick, myself, and the other roommates who are sprinkled throughout the crowd tonight were model scholars and citizens. We survived, fast forward 8 years, and here we are tonight. I'm truly honored to stand here as one of Nick's groomsmen. But when faced with the prospect of giving a speech, I must say I was extremely nervous and immediately sought counsel from almost anyone I could. After extensive research and advice on what I actually should be saying right now, I realized I basically had two options. One, I could try and roast Nick. With 20 years of material, 20 years of friendship, the material was not lacking. Or two, I could tell a story that represents Nick and Emily's love for one another. It would be quite daring to try and roast Nick, a guy who self-admittedly dislikes most of the things he encounters on a daily basis, and who started a website so he could write about those things. Don't get me wrong, www.nickcheolas.com started as a way to keep family and friends apprised of Nick's progress in getting rid of the C word, but quickly digressed into very Nick Cheolas-esque rants. After much thought, I realized that roasting Nick would likely come back to haunt me, mostly because he's the most sarcastic and intelligent person I've ever met. So, then I was left with finding the perfect memory of the happy couple, kind of like Coleman did up here, that fairly characterized the relationship. Well, instead of story, I found a quote. A wise man once said, "Love wins. Love always wins." That wise man, of course, is none other than Nick's journalism icon, or idol, Mitch Elfman. All jokes aside, while I couldn't come up with just one story about Nick and Emily, this quote, ironically, and probably much to Nick's dismay, got me thinking about their 8-year relationship. 8 years. Nick and Emily have been together longer before getting married than any couple I know. As a result, they have faced and gracefully overcome multiple challenges that life has thrown their way, all while demonstrating an enduring commitment and deep love for one another. Nick and Emily's commitment to one another up to this point can only be predictive of a long and happy life together. This commitment was demonstrated by Emily as she moved to a new city alone, initially without Nick, found a great job there, and stood by his side through treatment. This commitment in turn was demonstrated by Nick as he hesitantly supported Emily's desire to get a dog, immediately fell in love with that dog, and then stood by Emily's side as she attended MSU for graduate school. While there isn't just one single memory or story that stands out and gives me faith in Nick and Emily's relationship, the past 8 years as a whole do. Emily, you look absolutely beautiful tonight. You're one of the most caring people I've ever met, which you show in your professional life as the best kindergarten teacher in Fairfax County, and in your personal life among family and friends. Nick, I'm lucky to have you as a best friend. You've already accomplished so much in your life, but nothing tops tonight. No doubt your greatest accomplishment yet was convincing Emily to marry you. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I truly couldn't be happier for both of you, and I'm excited to be a part of your future life together. Everyone just raise a glass to Nick and Emily.
Thank you very much. How about a hand for